Hello, this is Catalysis. Welcome to another episode of Diablo 3 2.7 wishlist. Today we will be talking about all classes item. So let's start with Stone of Jordan. Stone of Jordan have some special meaning to Diablo community. It's once used as the trading currency for Diablo, and for the current version it provides 20% elemental damage and 30% elite damage. And in the current state of the game, this item is obsolete. So what I suggest is we can add a new canine crit formula so that we can use Stone of Jordan. So what I propose is we can add a legendary affix to any ancient Stone of Jordan. So of course they have to be expensive. What I'm proposing is maybe it requires 10 times of bounty crafting material and a level 15 or above legendary gem. So the effect of it would be similar to using a Ring of Royal Grandeur, and but like it would be more flexible since maybe we can activate 2 weapon ability by using this ancient Stone of Jordan. Next, let's talk about other all class items. So let's start talking about a different damage reduction option. Vigilante belt. It is a belt that rolls with cooldown reduction. So what I feel like is we can add an effect so that every time we use a skill that has cooldown, we gain 40 to 50% damage reduction for 4 seconds. So in this way, if we stack tons of cooldown, we may be able to keep this damage reduction up for the entire game. Next is the feeding strap. So what I feel like is it can gain dodge chance based on our attack speed bonus. So notice that the dodge chance is kept at 75%. So even with crazy item like Flying Dragon, it will just be a 75% dodge chance increase. Grandfather is a Diablo 2 item. Right now it just gave us 15% life. And in the original Diablo 2, it get a stat that increase all status. So what I feel like is we can put this back into it plus 1000 all stat. So this would roughly equal to 20% life because normally a character will have 4000 to 5000 vitality, 2000 armor, 200 100 all resist, and then also around 10% damage or 5% damage, depends on the current main stat you have. And this would make it a very good fast leveling item as well. Just think about what 1000 all stat would do to a level 1 character. The similar go to this Guardian buff pair. So originally it just add 500 vitality. So what I propose is give them plus 2000 all stat. So this way they will become more useful. Favorite of time, by just looking at its name, I'm thinking about slow time. So what I propose is give us the chance when get hit to automatically cast a slow time. So this is an all class item, but of course Wizard can bring it into full advantages if we make it interact with the MO set of Wizard. Ouroboros. So it's the story talking about 2 snakes eating each other tail. So what I feel like is, how about we give it something interesting like spending 10% of primary resources, restore 2.5% of maximum life, and losing 10% of life, restore 5% of primary resources. And what I'm going to propose next is a very crazy item. I feel like that we should reward skill pay, not requiring it. All those damage reduction items, some would say it may make the game too easy because now we have tons of damage reduction. We can just stand there and tank for all day. But what I think is the ability to kite or avoid damage should be by choice but not being forced. So this is why I think we can add a square lagless, and this lagless, what it would do is we would gain 10% increased damage but take 3% more damage every time, for every second, as long as we don't take any damage. And it would be stacked for 15 times, so that means that if you didn't take damage for 15 seconds, you instantly deal 150% increased damage, but you will also take 45% more damage. So this promote you to have skill so that you don't take a lot of damage in order to maintain it. Otherwise, if you keep on taking damage, it would be just 10% of increased damage and 3% more damage taken. This number may seem like a little bit too much, but you have to consider like you only have this 150% damage increase while you're not taking damage for 15 seconds, and also you have to take 45% more damage while you gain this benefit. So it's a high risk, high benefit item. This way the choice of not taking damage is by choice. Like if you think you are a very skilled player, you can of course put this in and do tons more damage. And if you're not so skillful player, you can of course not use this, otherwise you will just tormenting yourself. I also noticed that this necklace maybe is something that good for a ranged character or a pet character only. Perhaps like it would be impossible for a melee character to use. So this is why maybe you can slightly treat that take damage to take elite damage. In that case, even melee character can use that. Or maybe we can come up with something cool like backstepping effect for melee character. So the slot also deserve a revamp, because currently every cast, like the original 6 casts, every one of them have a set that don't have shoulder. So let's start with Mentor of Channeling. The damage reduction for now is just too low. It have to be higher because for few channeling skills you just have to stand still while channeling. So make you a sitting duck. So increasing the damage reduction would definitely help a lot. Also, I think Spirit Barricade and Cipher Bud, which is the newly added Necromancer skill, should also be considered as a channeling skills. Protrusion of Skeleton Kings. Right now, it gives you a very unreliable death cheating mechanism, and that death cheating mechanism also comes without any damage immunity bonus. So I think that currently is since being very popular. So what I suggest is we change it to something else. Since Skeleton King is also someone who can summon, so how come not just make it into a summoning shoulder? So while you got active summons, you deal 30 to 35% increased damage while taking 25% reduces damage. So different cards can pop this different way. For example, Wizard can use Hydra, and then Barbarian can use Call of the Ancient, and etc, etc. So this shoulder would be a good addition to the arsenal, so that we can customize our shoulder slot with something that's more useful. Homing pads is cool that we don't being interrupted while we teleport, and damage reduction while we're doing so, but seriously no one is using it. This shoulder is not forgotten. So what I suggest is just add this effect to become an innate ability of town portaling. So basically you can always town portal back to home. This will help with situation whether you die for a few times, your armor is wet, and you can just teleport home without afraid of being interrupted. But this will also open up chance for expiring. For example, pet cast can always channel this teleport, so that's why I reduce damage reduction to 25%. in this way it won't be exploited. And I think we can change it to something else. I didn't have anything good in mind, but perhaps change it to something like primal pets, because this look very rough, very tribal, and add 1000 to all stat. So the effect of this is being mentioned before, so I feel like it will open up option for us. Next, let's talk about the set item for all class. So the aim of this revamp is because there's a lot of set that don't have shoulder, bracer or belt. There's a lot of build that doesn't have anything to wear for these 3 slots. So what I suggest is all this set is to provide some gear for us to wear if there's nothing better to wear. So the main use of this is for most of the 5+3 build. For example, when we use Sulima set, currently there's no good shoulder and bracer. Maybe you have some choice, but we can always pop in some of the gear in here to make it a better slot. So the damage cannot be too high because it's intended for 5+3 build. So what I'm aiming for is around 100% increased damage and 50% damage reduction. So I put in this number because you need 2 gear slot, and also you have to use Ring of Royal Grandeur, so 3 gear slot, and it would be fair to give it 100% damage increase and 50% damage reduction. Let's start with an old classic, Astral Authority. So this set, it got a shoulder piece, it got a bracer piece, so it's a very common set to be used in. Sulima set, Tarasha set, Natasha set, and then Barbarian, Monk, all of them can just use this set. So what I propose is as a 2 set bonus, we get a fact 30% and 40% damage increase, and then with the set bonus combined, we can take 50% reduce the damage from elite and deal around 100% increase the damage towards elite as well. Guardian's Jeopardy. So I got the idea from the favorite text. So in one of the items, the favorite text say that the one of the sorcerer known as Guardian was convinced that the world would end one day and turn against magic user, and he prepared himself accordingly. So reading this, I feel like he would do a lot of training on his physical body. That's why it have a plus 2000% all stat and some life regen. And the focus of the remaining piece is it provides tons of physical damage and physical damage reduction. Because all the magical damage means elemental damage is gone, so focusing on physical seems to be the way to go. Captain Crimson Trimming. So this item originally provide cooldown reduction and all resources cost reduction. I think we should honor that. And afterward, I think we should increase our damage deal by the resources cost reduction, and then provide damage reduction by the cooldown reduction. Demon Hind, it have an effect to increase area damage. So I feel like we can turn it into a set that multiply area damage. So what I'm proposing is for the 4 sets bonus, it make all our attack to always apply area damage, and enemy being damage would would deal 40% less damage. And since one of the bonus and the law says that is related to demon, so I think it would be fitting to include increased damage against demon and reduce damage taken from demon by 30% into the set. black font is gone, outdated. It got an amulet belt, so it can be equipped with quite easily. So what I put here is, once again, we got some reduced damage and increased damage to elites. And then the free set, we got the old 4-set bonus, which is immune to Desecrate, Molten, and Plague effect. And now the 4-set is, after it being hit by elite efforts, you deal 100% increased damage and take 30% reduced damage. So with all of this combined, it should be not very OP, and I think it would become very useful as well. So this is the end of today's episode. Thanks for watching.